Okay. Hello. As Zach put, I am Greg Mahan. I graduated from here in 2014, and I study sound recording technology at the University of Massachusetts Lowell. And I'm here to talk today about the second workday, or what I've come to refer to as the artist's workday for myself. So, when we think about the thing that's most valuable to all of us in 2017, I think that you'll find that the thing that a lot of people hold dear isn't money or fame or power. It's something that you can't buy, but it's something that governs every move that we make. And I think the thing that we find most valuable to ourselves in 2017 is actually time. It never seems like we have enough time in the day. It's always running around, it's waking up late, hopping in the shower, skipping breakfast, racing down to the high school, slowing down for the speed bumps, and then coming in, rushing in. You never have enough time. Your homework didn't get done the night before. But I think that when a lot of us think about time, we trap ourselves into this cycle that's up on the board right now. And we compartmentalize our life into two categories, which is work, which a lot of us see as, the boring stuff, and then life, which is everything after extracurricular. It's the things that we like to do, whether it be, sports or even just sitting on the couch and relaxing after a long day. But when I got to college, I found that during my freshman year, I was pretty unsatisfied with how I was using my time. It seemed like I would wake up, I would take the shuttle to classes, I would go through classes, in between I would just kind of sit around, go to the dining hall for like an hour and a half and just do nothing. And then I would get off the shuttle and I would come home and I would just hang out and I would play video games with my friends for about 6 hours. I would go to sleep and then I would wake up the next day and I would repeat it over and over again. And this all seemed fine to me until a point in my sophomore year when I approached one of my professors and I said, I really don't feel like I'm getting enough out of my time here. I said, I feel like I'm putting all the work into my classes, but then at the end of the day, I go home and I feel unfulfilled. I feel like I still have more that I can be doing with my time here at the university. And he said, well, what do you do when you go home? And I said, I don't know. I just hang out. I don't do anything. And he said, I go right from UMass, and I drive into Boston, and I do a gig in a pit for an orchestra. Or I go to dinner, and I talk with someone about the work that I'm doing for this nonprofit. Or I do something as simple as I go out with my wife and I see a movie. But I try and make sure that I use all of this time as effectively as I can to better myself as an artist and as a person. And so the way that I started thinking about things, and something that I realized, is that I had the same starting point as my professor. As soon as the clock hit midnight, and every night, I still had all the same 24 hours that my professor had in his day. And it seemed like he was doing so many incredible things with his time. And I wanted to aspire to be like that. I wanted to aspire to squeeze every last drop of inspiration and passion that I could out of every second of every minute of the 24 hours that we all get each day. And so I developed the concept that I've started to call the artist's workday. And so basically, at 5 p.m. every day, when the sun goes down, I walk outside the front door of the music building, and the next 7 hours are mine. They're mine to be whatever I want to be and whatever I can dream to be. About a week after I talked with my professor about this concept, his time management, I was sitting on the shuttle going back, and I told myself that I would do at least one creative thing that day. But I couldn't figure out what to do yet. And I went on Facebook and I saw that one of my friends was actually selling his old camera. And without thinking about it, something just clicked right away. And I shot him a quick message, and I said, I want your camera. Like, I've never taken a photograph in my life. I've always seen myself as just a musician, but I think I'm gonna try this out for myself. And then after I bought my camera, one of my friends came up to me and she said, hey, I'm looking to do more gigs. Can you take, photos of me for publicity? And I took my first headshot. And then eventually that led to me shooting my first concert. And then I took headshots for the music department. And then I started doing video production for the university. And all of this is culminating into next month when actually at a movie theater in downtown Lowell, a dream of mine is actually coming true, and I'm gonna premiere my very first documentary that I co-directed at an actual movie theater in Lowell, which is something that I absolutely never would have dreamed of freshman year when I was riding on a shuttle to just go back and play video games with all of my friends. We live in a world with 7 billion people. And I think as an artist that used to terrify me. I used to think, how can I possibly keep up with all of these people stretched out across the globe, connected by the internet? Every day it seems like more incredible music, passionate films, amazing photography is coming out, and I never thought that I could keep up with it. But as I've started to maximize my time, and as I take time at night to really work on what drives me and what motivates me as an artist, I've found that 24 hours a day is all the time in the world. You can stretch all of that time, and you can do so many things that you thought that you could never do. If you've never picked up a paintbrush in your life, you can go buy a sketchbook, and before you know it, you might be enrolled in an art class, and you might be moving forward in an artistic passion that you never thought that you would ever be able to connect with and that would resonate with you. But if you take the time to seek out what motivates you, you can find inspiration everywhere. And so when I introduced myself as a student. But I think that part of my issue was coming from the fact that when I talked about myself, I only talked about myself as a student. We're all human beings in this room here. Yet whenever someone asks us, what do you do? We just pick the one thing that we do in our 9 to 5 or similar timetable, and we say that's what we do. So I would say I was a student. Some of you in this room would say that you were a teacher. A lot of you would also say that you're students if you're enrolled in the high school here. But your potential as a human being goes beyond that. And if you allow yourself to connect and put in time to really find what motivates you, not necessarily as an artist or a creative type, but as a person, in all of this extra time that we have at the end of the day, you can move past these simple one-word definitions that are up on the screen here. You don't have to be just a student. You don't have to be just a teacher or a photographer. You can be so many things all at once if you just take the time to find what motivates you. And you can become what you really are, which is a person. So if anyone in the audience here tonight is thinking about themselves and thinking about all the things that they have, school, soccer practice, work after school, take a look at your calendar and see if there's even 1 hour every week that you can squeeze something in. It doesn't have to be 7 hours a day. It can be every Sunday afternoon, I'm gonna read a book about photography, or every Friday, I'm gonna take up horseback riding lessons. But I urge everybody in this room to try and carve out time for you to be your own boss and find what motivates you as an individual, as an artist, and as a person. Ultimately, if I have to sum up my idea into one thing, it would be that I do what I have to do during the day to do what I want to do at night and explore all of these artistic endeavors. And I think that if everyone takes a closer look at their calendar, I think that they'll be surprised by all of the time that they have to take a leap of faith, find what motivates you, and work towards being the most full person that you can possibly be.